This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
And a man said, the river is here.
Faith means something when it's exercised in the darkness.
Right now is the opportunity to agree to a ceasefire and get these hostages home.
Born and raised here in Person County, I've seen remnants of hurricanes come through, but nothing of this magnitude.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. It's a race against time. Search and rescue teams are working at a fever pitch in Texas. Kerrville Mayor Joe Herring.
Primary search continues and we remain hopeful every foot, every mile, every bend of the river.
He says no one is presumed dead. That death toll from flooding now stands at 95. 27 of them were children from a Christian girls' camp. Senator Ted Cruz says Texas is traumatized.
The pain, the shock of what has transpired these last few days has broken the heart of our state.
10 girls from that camp are still missing. CBS's Jason Allen.
This is a camp that just sits right up on the banks of the Guadalupe River. This would have been a very difficult spot for them to find any sort of higher ground to run to.
There were evacuations of 750 campers over the weekend. One nurse captured on video a full bus of girls singing praises to God as they escaped.
I'll shout it from the mountaintops, praise God.
At one point, the bus drove over the raging Guadalupe River, and you can hear the girls continuing to sing praise, even as debris is hitting their vehicle.
With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
All of them survived. Just miles away, Diane McCracken was inside her RV.
We got this really loud bang on the RV door, and a man said, the river is here. And there was the river just raging towards us.
She told her story to the Family Life newsroom earlier today. How long did you have when you got that knock on the door?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
3 minutes. It was so fast. So fast. I honestly keep seeing it in my head. I keep seeing a river. There's no way that the river could ever have been where it was. And the man is like, you've got to get out now. And we did. And had we not listened, we would have been swept away.
The Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in an hour. Pastor Robert Jeffries with the First Baptist Church of Dallas told Fox News there's tragedy in Texas, but there's also hope.
Faith means something when it's exercised in the darkness. And right now there are hundreds of families here in Central Texas that are exercising faith in the darkness. They don't understand why, but they believe in a God who will one day, not immediately, but eventually he will make all things right.
Meanwhile, there are several Christian organizations currently on the ground bringing relief, including the Salvation Army.
This for us is personal. We have 2 employees here at the Salvation Army whose house went off the foundation. They lost everything.
Major Phil Swires with the local chapter, he says they're giving out 800 meals a day.
In a world currently where it just seems everything is so divided, it has been amazing to see this community come together.
You can find a list of aid organizations when you head to familylife.org/relief. In North Carolina, rain from a tropical storm has caused major flooding. Jason Wilburn is the sheriff in hard-hit Person County.
Born and raised here in Person County, I've seen remnants of hurricanes come through and, strong thunderstorms and produce, flash flooding in the area, but nothing of this magnitude across, especially our western part of the county, with the road closures and the road washouts.
There's some strong storms for us in New York and Pennsylvania this afternoon. Flash flood warnings were issued for parts of Cayuga and Onondaga counties. Kevin Williams keeping his eye on the sky. Will have his forecast in just a moment. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington tonight for a dinner with the president. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has a preview.
This will be a dinner to talk about Operation Midnight Hammer, which was incredibly successful, to talk about peace in Gaza and ending that conflict.
Thomas Nides is the former U.S. ambassador to Israel. He tells Fox News Trump needs to strike while the iron is hot.
Right now is the opportunity for President Trump to get the Prime Minister and Hamas to agree to a ceasefire and get these hostages home.
He predicts a deal on Gaza could happen this week. President Trump sent letters today to 12 countries with take it or leave it tariff offers. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says tariffs that were paused for negotiations will take effect August 1st for those countries, and he expects more deals to start being made.
We are going to have several announcements in the next 48 hours. When he said that there's a chance that countries could boomerang back to their April 2nd reciprocal tariff levels, we've had a lot of people change their tune in terms of negotiation.
Bessent says if things don't move along, tariffs will increase. And a new study finds that eating eggs is beneficial to your health. The study followed close to 19,000 adults and discovered that those who ate 1.5 eggs a day had stronger bones than those who did not. Participants who routinely ate eggs had a 72% higher bone density. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, energy demand hits a record in New York and Pennsylvania. 3 kids hurt in a house fire in Wayne County, and we're honing in on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Those stories after weather with Kevin Williams.
The call for tonight, a shower in spots. Could be a thunderstorm or two yet this evening, especially in eastern Pennsylvania. Low temps 60s. Tomorrow, across New York State, morning clouds and some sun, a bit cooler, less humid 70s. More clouds in Pennsylvania with a shower, rumble of thunder, and a high in the low 80s. And Wednesday, partially sunny with high temperatures in the low to mid 80s.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories and making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. We're watching that Doppler radar closely this afternoon. A severe thunderstorm warning is just about to wrap up in Seneca, Yates, and Cayuga counties. Some of the same areas hit pretty hard by Friday's storms. There are heat advisories stretching from Rochester to Binghamton and flash flood warnings in effect until 7:15 tonight for parts of Cayuga and central Onondaga counties. Demand for energy in New York and Pennsylvania is at a 30-year high. Energy expert Todd Snitchler tells Spectrum News there are common sense solutions to keep your energy bills from skyrocketing this summer.
Look at weatherization of their homes. So it makes them more efficient in the summer to keep the cold in and the heat out, and the reverse in the winter when you want to keep your home warm and keep the cold out.
The higher bill is because of more spending on infrastructure. New York Governor Kathy Hochul wants to build a new nuclear energy plant to help meet the energy needs of the Empire State. Nuclear expert Antoinette Maniotti.
Solar and wind are also very important, but they are not continuous. There are times when the sun is not shining. There are times when the wind is not blowing. And so they tend to oscillate. There's fluctuations in the level of energy produced. Whereas with nuclear energy, it's very continuous. And you can bring it in and pull it out as you need it.
It's been 36 years since a nuclear power plant has been constructed in New York. 3 children were hospitalized after a weekend house fire in Wayne County, New York. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office says 2 victims, ages 8 and 14, were treated for smoke inhalation, while the 11-year-old remains hospitalized with severe burns. Multiple fire departments came to the scene. Palmyra's Chief Lucas Shula tells WROC the summer heat often requires a large-scale response.
Temperatures during the day and at night, that has a big impact. Everything that's burning inside, very hot fire, it takes a lot out of you, a lot out of the firefighters, and that's why we usually end up calling so many departments in the summertime.
As the 25th anniversary of 9/11 approaches, a Somerset County, Pennsylvania memorial is preparing for a new chapter of remembrance and renewal. Family Life's Brian Query explains.
The Friends of Flight 93 National Memorial has launched a fundraising campaign to support upgrades at the Shanksville site where United Flight 93 crashed on September 11th, 2001. The group hopes to raise $300,000 to $500,000 for projects including replanting the 40-tree Memorial Grove, enhancing 9/11 education, and promoting environmental stewardship. A $50,000 grant from the National Park Foundation will jumpstart the effort, and organizers say preserving the story of Flight 93 for future generations is more important than ever. Information on their work is available at flight93friends.org. Brian Query, Family Life News.
And next at 5, a peek at local missions. Let's listen in.
This is Mission Missions Pulse on Family Life. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight ministries that are making a difference where you live, across the country and around the world. This week, we're spotlighting the Delta Lake Christian Conference Center in Rome, New York. Steve Clark is the camp director. 101 years of ministry. Steve, 1924, I believe, is the year when the first tent meetings happened there in Rome, New York. Got to ask you, not a lot of ministries have that kind of staying power. To what do you attribute Delta Lake's longevity?
A lot of family connections. People who have history that maintain and nurture that history. People who have come, who've had life-changing experiences, and that becomes the pattern of ongoing in their family tradition, if you will. Mm-hmm. But it's also a case of new generations coming in to experience what it means to encounter Christ in a off-the-way place. By that I mean out of the normal context of home life, coming to a spot that is away from the hustle and bustle of life, giving you an opportunity to just develop a fresh sense of the presence of God in an outdoor context where people can be friendly and gracious and hospitable to one another.
Is Christian camping as big a deal today as it was 25, 50 years ago? Talk about how you have had to get creative as far as a camp director in keeping camping alive and well in our culture today.
For us, family camp is a 1 week experience out of the summer. We have youth camps that go for about 6 weeks and guest groups that take up much of the year's calendar. We may have changed the way we do programs. We may have expanded the kinds of programs, but we haven't changed our message or adjusted our emphasis. Our mission remains the same, and that is welcoming guests to encounter Jesus in a way that helps people live in today's society while they are encountering the one who is timeless and changeless.
That is Steve Clark, director of the Delta Lake Christian Conference Center in Rome, New York, for this week's edition of Missions Pulse. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight ministries that are making a difference where you live, across the country and around the world.
You can subscribe, listen to, and share Missions Pulse and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
It may sound better to say 42% of Americans don't live paycheck to paycheck, but that means 58% do. Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. With inflation, our money shrinks, and having more money isn't always the answer. How do we know? Because a survey showed that those making even $250,000 a year have financial troubles, and 30% of those high-income earners spend everything they make. The real solution? Living below your means, no matter your income, so you have more to give. When you spend less than you earn, you create margin, not just to save and plan for the future, but also to give generously and invest in what truly matters. If you're stuck in a paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, now's the time to create a plan, and the FaithFi app can help. Manage your finances wisely with the easy-to-use FaithFi app. Download FaithFi, Faith and Finance from your app store, or learn more at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, don't eat cheese before bed. We'll tell you why after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. A cool front slowly pushing through our region today, kicking up a couple of showers and thunderstorms along the way. In its wake, slightly less humid and cooler air will arrive for more comfortable conditions tomorrow and Wednesday. But the front's slowing and eventual stalling will mean unsettled weather will continue tomorrow across the I-80 corridor in Pennsylvania. The call for tonight, a shower in spots, could be a thunderstorm or two yet this evening, especially in eastern Pennsylvania, low temps 60s. Tomorrow, across New York State, morning clouds and some sun, a bit cooler, less humid 70s. More clouds in Pennsylvania with a shower rumble of thunder and a high in the low 80s. And Wednesday, partly sunny with high temperatures in the low to mid 80s.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, many people just love cheese, but a new study says it's also the stuff of nightmares. Here's Family Life's Mark Webster.
Oh, cheddar. Probably one of my top 26 favorite cheeses.
Yeah, Garfield might want to lay off the cheese at bedtime, and maybe you should too. A study published in Frontiers of Psychology backs the old adage about certain foods before bedtime giving people nightmares. And cheese and other dairy products were the second most prevalent food group for preceding disturbing and bizarre dreams. Of course, we've buried the lead a bit here. Dairy was only the number 2 offender when it comes to bedtime nightmare fuel. Number 1, that's sweets. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Say it isn't so. And that's the world that we live in for Monday, the 7th of July. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.